Hi everybody. We started looking at sequences yesterday, so we're going to carry on with sequences, or we've been looking at them actually all week, but we're going to start finding the nth term. Now in yesterday's lesson I talked about we would need that at some point, and so today now we are going to be using this. So what I want you to do when we do the questions in your book, you need to be writing down the sequences. So each time you are going to write down the sequence 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17. Now, when I'm finding the nth term, I need to make sure I am looking for the difference between each term, and it needs to be a common difference. So each difference here, you are adding on 4. So to get from term 1 to term 2, you are adding on 4. Term 2 to term 3, adding on 4. Term 3 to term 4, adding on 4. So the rule must be going up in 4s, and the way we write down going up in 4s is going to be 4n. It means 4 times the term number. However, if we were looking at the first term in this sequence is 1. So I've got to make sure that I know what I need to do to get to the first term. I'm not getting it by doing 4 times 1, because that isn't going to give me 1. I need to do something to get to 1. So the easiest way of doing it is to build a wall and jump back over. We need to find out what term 0 would be. So term 0, if I've got term 1 is 1, term 2 is 5, term 3 is 9, term 4 is 13, term 5 is 17, term 0 would be, I would need to be taking away 4. And when I take away 4, I end up at -3. So I know my rule needs to be 4n minus 3. So I'm always finding what term 0 is every single time, and that gives me what I'm adding or taking away to give me the right position in the sequence. Now, we were looking at, in some of the exam questions we had yesterday, we were looking at trying to find out which terms are in the sequence. Now it says explain why 95 will not be a term in this sequence. So probably there are a number of ways of doing it. The proper way of doing it is to solve the equation. So go back to doing, when we solve equations, we need to know what our rule is. 4n take away 3, and it says explain why 95 is not a term in the sequence. So we're going to do 4n take away 3 is the same as 95. Now, can we solve that equation? Well, hopefully the answer is yes. We were doing that in the lessons in the lead up to your to your PPE. So what I'm doing first, I need to get rid of the add or take away bit first. So I need to add on 3 to both sides. So I have now 4n is equal to 98. Now how do I get rid of that times by 4? I'm going to be dividing by 4. So I know that n must be 24.5. Now 24.5 isn't a term. The n needs to be a whole number, because it is a term number. It is a position in the sequence. So when you solve that equation, you just need to make sure that n is a whole number. Alternatively, you could do it by working out term number 24, term number 25, and you'd spot that term number 24 is one side of 95 and term number 25 is the other side of 95. So 95 couldn't be in the sequence. All right, so that would be another way of doing it. So make sure when you're doing those, you are taking K. Now, this one here, different type of sequence. First one you had was an ascending sequence. This one is a descending sequence. Still done exactly the same. What's happening? Well, let's write down the sequence first. What is the difference? So what am I doing to get from term to term? Well, I'm taking away 3, taking away 3, taking away 3, taking away 3. Is that a common difference? Well, yes, it's exactly the same difference each time. So I am writing down the start of my rule. -3 times n. It is going down in 3s, so I write down -3n. Now, exactly the same idea. I've got term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, term 5 in my sequence there. I need to work out what term 0 is to make sure that I know what I'm adding or taking away to my minus 3n part to work out the complete rule. So term 0, if I've been taking away 3 each time, I need to do the opposite and add 3. So when I do this, I have 13. Now, when I have 13, I am adding 13 onto that. So if I was to take this rule and try to work out any number in that sequence, I should be able to do that, no problem at all. All right, so part B says find the 50th term in the sequence, just exactly like we were doing yesterday. So I'm going to label it in the same way as we were doing yesterday. I used U50. So remember, what does minus 3n add 13 mean? Well, it means minus 3 times the term number. And the term number in this case is 50. Minus 3 times 50 and add on 13. Now, working through it properly, I suppose I must go minus 3 times 50, which is minus 150, and add on 13. And then when I work out is the 50th term in the sequence, I'm doing minus 150, add on 13, and that would be minus 137. So the 50th term would be minus 137. You could write that out and check it. Don't think I'm going to do that. It would be taking me a little bit too long. So all I would say is make sure you are using those methods to find the rules. All right. So when you get onto some of the questions, some of them are fractions. When you were dealing with the fractions questions, you work out the numerator rule and the denominator rule and just write your rule as a fraction. It'll be a little bit of algebra on the top and a little bit of algebra on the bottom. So I've left a worksheet for you. Have a go at it. Do your best. I'm sure you're going to be fine. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Ta-da.